Thank you so much for giving me the honour of enjoying and judging your amazing artwork for the second year running. I'm really sorry I can't be there in person. I've got a reunion I can't get out of, but I will be thinking of you on the night. Once again, I've been really impressed looking around. Some great creativity, brilliant attention to detail. You should all honestly be really proud of what you turned out, because it's a real celebration and there's no one piece that holds it all together. It's a joint effort. All made a single part of this jigsaw complete, and it's a brilliant exhibition and it's a brilliant sort of celebration of art in our area, so really well done for that. You should honestly, as I've said before, be really proud. It's a difficult decision to single out anyone in particular, so what I'm going to aim to do is to talk about the four main art groups in general and give huge pats on the back to everyone as I go through it, and hopefully point out some of the real high points in the quality in the work that I can see before me today. Starting with the Peas group, the first thing that stood out to me was the tremendous variety of different approaches and different subject matters that people have taken on in the work. There's this obvious brilliant homage to rock legends up there with Jimi Hendrix, and I can tell that straight away. It really stands out well. Lovely control of the tones, lots of different textures from the hair to the face, and the cravat that he always kind of wore really captures the character really well, I thought. Some lovely sort of landscapes and seascapes as well. This picture in particular shows you how much you can do with just one colour, just working with the colour blue in different shades, going right through to white and right down to the deepest sort of indigo blue. How you can get a subtle atmosphere into a picture, really well executed there. Lovely character and the eyes showing the relationship between these two in this portrait of children there, which is brilliant. A nice sort of view of the bridge with the buildings, which are harder to draw than you think to try and get them accurate. And if you did get them wrong, they would stand out a mile, but there's nothing wrong with those. And there's a real strength to the bridge with the shading underneath the arches. And I love this one of the colliery, nice and strong in the way it's been put together with a pen and ink. It suits that topic of sort of the harsh industrial background of this area really well. And it's handled right through to the lightest cross-hatching, right through to the darkest sort of heavy tones. There's this brilliant portrait of Mo Farah. It couldn't be anyone else, especially. They've got the pose of Mo and the way he moves, and it's working really well. I really particularly like the random kind of splashes that they put into the picture to make it look like he's kind of possibly on some kind of cross country, but it certainly adds to the movement of the picture, adds to the expression. It shows you that what he does for a living isn't easy, and the artist has really conveyed that well there to show the true Olympian spirit. Real nice atmosphere with the train picture, nice again just to use limited colours, blues and browns, suits that sort of old industrial sort of feel, and it's coming through the landscape nice and clearly there, so a real good improving piece of work. Another industrial landscape, this time a bit of colour, but good to see they've still stuck with pen, which suits that sort of topic really well. The old winding house handled really well as the tiles on the roof and the stack. This one, a nice landscape, again in limited colours, bolder colours than probably real life would have been, so it's slightly expressive in the way it's done, and the mark making is particularly good in it to try and show hints of that landscape, really atmospheric. Really nice. It's hard to get delicate images into pictures and to show balance. It's easy to make that bird look too heavy or look like a stand at an angle, but the artist has pulled that off. He's shown the delicacy of this wading bird really well, and also gone further and put the reflections of the bird in the water, which is really skillful, and a nice piece of handling there. And from a distance, it kind of looks photographic as well. Not that all pieces have to, but very well handled. One of my favourites. There's a fairy inside everyone, including me, I'm sure, but really it's good fun and it makes everyone smile, and it's a good piece of illustration for a children's book or something along those lines. It would suit that really well. Butterfly, really nicely done, quite delicate. I like the idea of blur in the background, so your focus is on the plant and the butterfly, and it's just that relationship handled well with nice colours. I love the sort of the idea of the tongue centre, just in little impressionistic blobs of colour. And when you come away from it, it does look like a busy market scene on a nice summer's day. Definitely somewhere you'd want to be. And I think it comes across really well in that image. Really good handling the colour on this one, especially as well as the objects themselves. The shadows have been handled really well. That blue works really well in the background. There's a nice composition in that one as well. You've got kind of the rectangle there and rectangles there kind of complementing each other. And the flower kind of links the two together. Really challenging scene to do, this one. Inside of churches are notoriously decorated to death, and it's no exception in the case of this one. You've got polished marble to think about, stone walls to think about, fine metalwork. It's all in that picture, and the figures are anatomically very good. So it's a nice handling of quite a tough topic to go for. Good in the way that the colours are there. You've got the strength on the leaves as well. It's not all just one tone of green. You've got the turning leaves. So it's got a delicacy about it, which is working really well. And again, the blurred out background keeps our focus on those sunflowers. Brilliant handling of the Alsatian there. Real nice expression in the eyes. The detail with the fur is being achieved really well, and I'm sure it's taken a lot of time, and there's a lot of different techniques. If you get a chance to look at this one closer, again, interesting composition. They've thought about a different angle. There's nice shadows on the back of the guy carrying all the bananas. You've got perspective, it takes you into the picture, and it also creates questions. There could be more of a story or a narrative to that, so it creates interest. Going on to the Caroline Melmoth group. Equal quality in the variety and in the ambition of the artists. Particularly like this oldie worldy kind of Tudor house drawing. I like the way the artist has left things out of the picture to keep our focus on just the house. And it's an awkward thing to get the perspective right on that, because you've got so many beams to consider, and what angle are they going to be when you're going to see the house in an extreme perspective view like that, and I think they've achieved that really well. Really nice sort of seashore scene up there. Looks like it's Cornwall, judging by that building on the headland in the distance. So you can already make connections. Delicately handled in watercolour. The youngster's face there, and the yellows add to the happy feel of it, even though it might be a rainy day. Perhaps that's why they've got their hood up, I don't know. But nicely handled, especially the eyes, and it's really important to get those eyes right in portraits, because that's the first bit you're going to look at and communicate with. Winter scene there, but it's got nice handling on the water as well as the solid elements in the picture. The water's handled quite well with a bit of reflection and the shine on it. And I like the way the colours have been mixed around as well. Really good character. Again, it's clever how they put the heavy shading in the background to make suddenly that dog come out of the page at you. So it's not just about drawing the dog, it's kind of drawing the parts which aren't the dog or aren't the subject that can have a negative effect and push that picture out towards you. Contrast now from the very different sort of texture. You've got the heavy sort of skins of an elephant. There's a little bit of a story and a nice feeling because you've got the baby elephant coming behind. So you've got those two mixing together, creating much more of a maternal picture rather than this heavy sort of huge African beast. Another industrial scene. It's obviously been a popular thing this year. The old steam railway going past the station, and it's nicely handled. Again, you've got to get that perspective right. Doing the wheels and getting the angles for the front of the train isn't easy at all, and I think the artists have had a really good go at that. Much plainer, but it's got a really nice atmospheric feel to it. We talked about white earlier with the bride's dress, but you can see there where you add blue to white, add yellow to white, all those things can create little subtle differences that'll create that illusion of distance in a picture. Really nice sort of mark making to create that sense of distance. Van Gogh was really good at that, especially if you look at his drawings. He used lots of different marks, larger ones for the foreground, tiny ones far away, and a whole range in between. And that's what that artist has done there to create this kind of meadow scene. Another extreme now is very much an illustration really. It's nicely executed, nice clear crisp lines, and you can sort of see there would be some sort of story obviously involved in that. A nice delicate one of flowers shows that you haven't always got to go big scale. If you go quite small and you pick a really nice mount, you can make intimate little paintings look really strong, so very well done on that one. We talked about different sort of arrays of blue that you could do for the landscapes and the atmosphere. That one shows what you can do with the colour red and how you can have so many different tones of red on just one sort of petal even. Very different in the style that it's been executed in. It certainly takes you back in time, possibly to the Roaring 20s. Dark background helps that crisp kind of look of the rhubarb. The artist has taken something from real life that's very everyday and turned it into a great piece of art. And the black is helping all of those colours, and there's brilliant control on the way the reds have been blended into the greens. I mean,
opposite sides of the colour wheel, so to get those two colours to blend together takes some real skill. Really nice one of a Ballerina. I love the way, again, the dark background helps that delicate white of the Ballerina stand out. You've also got a sense of balance in there, and it's very much like Degas' work, where he sort of showed the ballerinas almost like athletes, really. Ruined Castle, the colours are quite muted, which I think suits that topic quite well. You've got a little bit of natural framing on the front there, where you've got some of the branches coming in that kind of take your eye towards the castle. The boat is really nicely handled with a rope. It's only a very simple picture, but you've got to get those horizontal lines perfect to make that beach work, and I think the artist has done that really well. I like the oval frame. It's kind of like a little intimate look, like you're spying on this gorilla chap, and the browns help to sort of give it a more noble look, if you like, and I think that's been brought across really well by the artist. Another confident piece. I like the way the artist has really challenged themselves by almost blocking off the scene of the picture, which you've got these houses and things. You can just see the rooftops of them behind, and they're not scared to put these brush strokes right across the painting. A confident composition. You've got the mother and the calf and the daughter all sort of together in one scene. It's working really well. The shadows help that calf look like it's actually there and not floating in space. This is Garth Oligarch group, and again, really nice variety. Lots of challenges have been taken on by this group, and I think there's some real success stories throughout. Not overpainted, just enough subtlety with the shadows to show that the boat's hulls are really heavy. Nice delicate handling of the rigging. That's easy to overpaint and make it look too heavy, but it's delicately done with almost broken lines in the dry brush mark that suits that scene really well. It's got that sort of Japanese look to it, with the shape of the rooftops, and some of the mark making's really interesting in there, and the way the water's been handled is also very skillful. Famous Monet, and they've got that windswept look of the lady with the umbrella and the atmosphere in the sky, which is not easy to do, and it's been achieved really well there. And also, again, we know she's got a white dress on, but if you look at that, it's practically all blue. The man himself, Mr. Bowie, fantastic piece of painting. That dark background really gives him that legendary kind of look, where he's the only subject in the image, nothing else needs to be there. Even his hair is only half painted, but you've got those famous Bowie eyes, and the way the skin's been painted and handled is really top notch. So I think that's a great tribute to him, and the artist should be very proud. The gentleman with the pipe, I think it's Modigliani, is it? If I've said that right, that's the Italian sort of look. Really nicely done, expressive brush strokes. The artist has taken on a real challenge there and mixed in purples and yellows and layered the colours to suddenly start to bring this character out of the painting. Nice limited landscape, all about the warm colours, reflected on the water, in the sky. You've got the atmosphere there. I like the nice curve of the land, and kind of, you've got these leading in lines that take your eye into the picture and off to that horizon. Lovely painting, nice control with the delicate petals. Not easy to do, and the artist has pulled that off. Sometimes it's knowing when to stop with the painting, and I think the artist has done a really good job on that one. Brilliant, intimate little picture of the squirrel, and I like all the work that's gone into the log or the tree stump that he's sitting on as well. Lots of different marks, and you can see that when it stands up to really close scrutiny. It's brilliantly detailed. There's lots of work and colour mixing in there that make that stand out really well. The owl's got real character to it. Again, I love the way the artist has given it the fluffy, feathery edge. It's got a little bit of movement in it, and also the feathering and the layers that they've used really adds to the character of that piece. Nice tight lines, nice crisp illustration, really well handled, and I like the way that they've known to do the forest going fainter and fainter as you go off into the distance, so you've got that little bit of depth in the picture as well. Very delicate leaves with a full range of tones and tiny little highlights for the droplets and the light bits. The veins on the leaves have been handled really well. A very sharp, confident piece of paint in there. It has got lots of character to it. It could be used on tourist brochures or to promote it to younger audiences. And I'm really happy that the artist has pushed themselves and gone for a larger scale as well. And it works really well. It's a nice fun view of Cardiff Bay. This one's great, nice intimate little view of a cow or a calf, but they've got the big kind of exaggerated eyes and the nose and all the qualities that have obviously interested that artist about that animal, and they've shown that really well there, so nicely handled in watercolouring. This one again, more like an illustration, similar to the first piece. You've got the curve of the river taking you into the picture, so it all kind of frames it. Very nicely handled trees in the distance, very delicately painted. They need to be because they're far away. And then you've got all the busyness of the houses and the interest there. Real nice handling of water, again a challenge, so well done for taking it on. You've got the movement of water there quite clearly. You've got these waves crashing over and the rocks, and all the different marks that have been made in there create that sense of movement against the plainer, sort of solid and moving rocks. I love the cottage. It's got lots of sort of cracks and marks over it that kind of add to that tumble down feel of the cottage anyway. And the trees around it also sort of come in close and draw your eye into the cottage. The nice warm colours as well make it appealing. And the flower at the top goes to show that you can use the full spectrum of colours if you want to try and make something stand out. And the artist has certainly done that to make that budding flower look far more interesting. Garth Art Society, and got a landscape showing a great sense of distance, nice mixture of colours in the sky to create that atmosphere against the contrast of the solid buildings. So that's working really well, and I like the way the fence post has been used to take you into the picture. Much more limited colour palette, it's a monotone picture, but it's got some interesting marks in the background for trees to show the woodland against the contrast of those rounded brick towers. So nicely handled with soft brush marks. The trees particularly, even more so than the buildings, really skillfully handled. Delicate flower study again, works well in a red mount. Nice contrast in between the complementaries of red and green. A lot of detail, a lot of effort gone into that, and it's worked out really well. You do get a different type of light in Cornwall, and I think the artist has shown that. At certain times of day you get these gorgeous kind of sunsets that make it a big tourist attraction anyway. There's a nice feeling of atmosphere in there. The eyes have to be spot on if you're going to get this right, and they are. You've even got the little bit of wetness on the nose, very little in the background to take away from it, and the handling of the fur has been really thought about, so well done that artist. A majestic stag symbolising Scotland against the majestic mountains. It's a good linking together of those two themes, and it looks like we're slightly below him looking up at him, which makes him look even grander. So a nice composition that's been nicely handled. For delicacy, it's a really good painting to look at this rose. All those different shades of pink going right through to greys and blues and yellows. The delicate little leaves that blend into almost nothingness really in the background are working really well. You could practically pluck those petals off there. You can see the artist, I assume, loves those dogs because it's been painted really lovingly, and it's got that character as well. And the eyes, again, very realistic with the shine in the eyes. And it's got a kind of a pop art sort of look to it. So I like the idea of just having one colour, which stand out really well, and then you've got the pencil drawing, which has been really nicely done. The artist has used the road to lead us up to the castle. They haven't just done the castle on its own, which is nicely done, and the trees are underpainted so we see the castle in all its majesty. The miner has been really well done. I like the idea of doing it on black paper, so you actually draw the light parts of the miner and bring him slowly to the surface on your picture, and I think the artist has done that without overdoing the white, because obviously they would have been pretty grubby anyway, and it suits that scene quite well. The snow scene, really nicely done again. I love the oranges going into blues in the sky that create a sort of warmth and friendliness about the picture. Those buildings blend into that landscape really well. The pen drawing's really nicely done, and then the light wash has been controlled really well. It's easy to overdo. The more abstract style being shown, that's definitely the style to go for if you want to show that musical, rhythmic type of feel in your work. And you've got musical instruments blending into shapes and then blending back into figures, all merging together. Two brilliant pictures showing how you can handle water in an image. The top one is all about the reflections on this wet day. Nice use of the line of lights as well that take us into the picture. The line of trees lead us in. The lamp reflects Big Ben standing in the distance. Really good composition, nice use of colours, again complementaries. You've got blues and oranges, opposite sides of the colour wheel working really well together there. This is water almost without the reflections in. You've got the solid waves that look like they would crush any ship into 1,000 pieces. The artist has really got the strength of those waves. How do you show wind in a picture? The artist has done that by just the tufts of the waves being captured, being blown off by the wind, so you can see the direction of the wind. Everything is kind of leaning that way, including the ship, including the masts. Having said that, the ship still looks solid. It looks like a convincing ship that's been well painted. The rigging's really good if you get in close, and I like the use of light to dark in the sky. So it's a real sort of sense of movement and the strength of the sea, and how puny, I suppose, we are trying to stand up to nature. With the Peas group, after long consideration, because you all put in a fabulous effort, I've decided on one that stands out for me personally. That doesn't mean that it's the best by law, but for me personally, I really like Red 2. Again, a really difficult decision to make with the Caroline Melmoth group, all really good high standards and lots of variety. But personally, if I had to pick a winner out, I would go for Yellow 13. Garth Community Art Group. Again, really difficult decision to make, and I fell in love with lots of these pieces. But if I had to pick one, I would choose Mr. Bowie, which is blue number 4. And last but not least, Garth Oligarchs Society. Again, brilliant variety, lovely quality, right through to the abstract works as well. So artists have really challenged themselves. But picking a winner wasn't easy, but after much deliberation, I've gone for Orange 15.